भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So, welcome everyone to our daily Gita classes. We have not had a Gita class for a very long time because we have been having so many festivals. But now we go back to Gita. Today we are going to be covering chapter number 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, and reading text number 32. Okay, 232. Over here. Okay. Yadrichaya cha upapanam swarga dvaram apavritam sukhina kshatriyah partha labhante yuddham idrisham yadrichaya chupapannam स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाय चोपापन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाय चोपापन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपावृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाया चोपपन्नम् स्वर्गद्वारम अपवृतम् सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धम ईदृशम् यदृच्छाया चोपपन्नम् Swargadvaram apavritam Sukhina Kshatriya Pata Labante Yudam Idrisham. Word for word translation. Yadrichaya, by its own accord. Cha, also. Upapannam, arrived at. Swarga, of the heavenly planets. Dvaram, door. Apavritam, wide open. Sukhina, very happy. Kshatriyaha, the members of the royal order. Partha, O son of Pritha. Labante, do achieve. Yuddham, war. Idrisham, like this. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. O Parth, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Please repeat after me. O Parth, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Purport. As Supreme Teacher of the world, Lord Krishna condemns the attitude of Arjuna, who said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habitation in hell. Such statements by Arjuna were due to ignorance only. He wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of his specific duty. For a Kshatriya to be on the battlefield and to become non-violent is a philosophy of fools. In the Parasharam Smriti, or religious codes made by Parashar, the great sage and father of Yasdev, it is stated, Kshatriyohi praja rakshan shastra pani pradan daya nirjitya parasanyadi shittim dharmena palayat. The Kshatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus with religious principles he should rule over the world. Considering all aspects, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom. And if he should die in battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planets, whose doors were wide open to him. Fighting would be for his benefit in either case. Okay? Okay. So, right now where we are in the Gita, we just have a bit of recap. So in chapter 1, Arjuna listed many reasons why he doesn't want to fight. There are how many reasons? How many broad reasons were given by Arjuna? How many of you remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many? About 12. What, 12? David? 7? Yes, so there are 5 main reasons. Okay, what are the 5 main reasons? Yes.
He will incur sin.
He will incur sin, number 1. Then
the people will stop giving
Yes.
respect to their elders.
Yes.
Because of this fighting, there will be no
Ancestors. So destruction of family tradition.
values.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's part of that. That's part of that. Compassion.
Okay, by killing his own family members, he did not want to enjoy
Yes.
the whole kingdom to himself.
Yeah. So no enjoyment. These are the four main ones that are covered in chapter 1. And in chapter 2, the last one is given, is that he was indecisive. He did not know what to do. And then before that, just before he surrendered to Krishna, he was indecisive. So these are the 5 reasons he gave for not fighting. And now, after Arjuna has spoken everything, now Krishna cuts all the arguments. Okay, the first reason he gave for not fighting was he was compassionate upon who? Who was he compassionate upon?
About his family members.
Family members. Who else?
Teacher.
Teacher.
The teacher.
Who is the teacher's name?
Vishwapitama.
Vishwapitama is the grandfather.
Grandfather.
And teacher's name is who? Dronacharya. And who else was he feeling compassion for? All the soldiers on both sides.
Both sides.
So he was compassionate for everyone. Yeah. In particular, Vishwapitama and Dronacharya. But what was wrong with that compassion? How did Krishna destroy that reason? We already covered this from 2:11 to 2:30. What was discussed by Krishna in these verses?
He said that they will be, I mean, whether they fight or not, they are going to die anyway. The
Yes.
soul. So whether they die fighting
Yeah.
and then get the heavenly, they'll go to the heavenly planets anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you kill them,
Mm-hmm.
they will still be going to fight. And no need to cry for somebody
Yes.
who you don't even know who was his past life. His present life you know him, and in future life what he is going to be.
You are thinking in connection with body only.
Body. Yes.
That
Like
you mean
material
key
thing.
point.
Material. So that's the main point that Krishna was bringing out, that the concept of the soul, the difference between the soul and the body. The actual person is not the body, it's the soul. So your compassion is at the level of the body, and that is a very temporary thing. The real compassion is compassion to the soul. Even if you kill that body, it's still a good thing for that soul, because they were in very old bodies. Yeah, they were already very old bodies. They will get a new chance, a new body. But the fact that Vishwapitama and Dronacharya were very pious, so anyway they are going to get elevated. So that is the point, that the Krishna starts with this knowledge of Atma Gyan. Okay, and he's trying to refocus Arjuna's reasons for not fighting in a different framework, not from a bodily point of view, but from the soul point of view. The second reason that Arjuna gave was that I will find no enjoyment. I will find no enjoyment in this war. I only see this as a lose-lose scenario. Even if I win, I will have lost all the people that I will want to show off my wealth with, or share my opulence with. The people I really want to share with it, they're going to be vanquished in this battlefield. So, and if I die, then I will actually not even get to the heavenly planets. I'll get to the hellish planets, because I'll be the cause for such big amount of catastrophe. Yeah. So this is Arjuna's thinking. And now these verses from 31, from the last one till 37, these verses are now tackling that reason. Okay, they are now tackling that reason that Arjuna thought that there will be no enjoyment. Okay. Now, what was the third one? Was the fear of sinful reactions. Now that will come in from 38 to 53. That will be now tackling the third reason. Fourth reason was the destruction of family traditions. That is already tackled in two verses, in 245 and 246. And the final is indecision, which will be tackled in 241. So Krishna, within a space of 40 verses, has basically destroyed all arguments of Arjuna. Okay, so let us deep dive into this particular verse. Okay, so in this section from 231 to 237, Krishna is reminding Arjuna that if he performs his duty, which is known as Swadharma, of fighting, because he is a Kshatriya, then there will be enjoyment in both victory or in loss. In victory, okay, you will get to rule over the entire world. So you will have no rival king who will be able to take over from you. because you will actually rule the entire world. So, and if it says in a few verses before it that isn't that the main aim of kings? Kings want to get sovereign rule. They don't want to share like leadership or kingly duties with anyone else. They want to be the supreme. And what is the limit of being supreme? Limit of being supreme is getting control over the entire world. And this is what the Pandavas will get. If they win, they will get to rule over the entire world. So that is such a very big thing. And Arjuna said what? That even if I get this, I don't think so, I'll still be happy. And it's true. We already discussed this in the previous shlokas. But if there is loss, on the battlefield, what is loss? Means you die. Yeah, you die. If you die, then according to this verse, you are going to be promoted to heaven. So what is the loss? You are going to enjoy, either you are going to enjoy here on the earthly planet, or you are going to enjoy the heavenly planet. So what is Krishna trying to do here to Arjuna? He is trying to get Arjuna to fight by giving some sort of incentive. What is the incentive that he is giving? That, oh, you will enjoy either way. You are thinking you are not going to enjoy, but you are actually going to enjoy either way. So this sort of incentives is found in the Karma Kant section of the Vedas. Yeah? To incentivize some person to do something, you tell them, oh, if you do this, you will get this and this benefit. Then that benefit will become like a goal for them to achieve, that, oh, I actually want to get this. So this is what Krishna is trying to do to Arjuna. He is trying to give him some incentive that, oh, you are thinking there is no enjoyment, but actually there is. And this is the enjoyment you will have. If you win, you get the whole world to rule over. If you die, you are going to enjoy in heaven. So either way, you are going to be enjoying. Right? So now the question is, some people will look at this verse and they'll be like, it looks a bit suspect. Because they say that, oh, if I can just engage in any type of war, then the doors of heaven open for me. Yes? But look at very carefully. It is saying that to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought. Meaning, Kshatriyas are not going out of their way waging wars to other people. No, they are only engaging in warfare for religious principles. Religious principles are what now? What were the Kshatriyas doing in that time? How were they actually living? And why would they even engage in warfare? So, Kshatriyas are meant to be the guardians of society. They are the fittest, the most, fittest group in the entire human society. They were charged with making sure that there is law and order and that everyone is engaging in their particular duties. And the duties of the Kshatriyas was to make sure that they protect the citizens. The word Kshatriya comes from two words. Shat means to hurt, to cut, and Trayate means to give protection. So Kshatriya are those people who give protection from those people who are bound to get hurt, or who basically give protection to the weak. And this protection is not only on the physical level, it's also on the spiritual level. They are in charge for making sure that people are not getting sidetracked only in material life. They are also making sure that they are basically following the spiritual duties, both duties side by side, so that they can fulfill the purpose of human life. Now, that is the role of kings. Now, if a king is not doing that, then another king can wage a war so that they can provide a service to those citizens who are being misled by that king. Okay, that is why the wars were actually fought on that basis, not for gaining more power, not for any political reason, but for on the grounds of religious principles. Who can take care of citizens better, so that they can be engaged both in material work as well as in understanding the spiritual goal of life. So on those type of wars which are based on righteousness, in those types of wars only is this going to be applicable, where the doors of heaven are wide open. Yes, not any other, not like a political war between two nations. No, not like that. This is not like that. So the Kshatriyas, they would want to get promoted to the heavenly planets. For them to do that, there are either two ways. One way is they would live a life of dharma and doing a lot of good deeds, punya. Then they would get elevated to heavenly planets. Or the other way was if they were fighting for a religious war, or a war based on religious principles. In either of those cases, their promotion to heaven is almost guaranteed. Yes. So now we have been hearing that, oh, promotion to heaven. But in our understanding, that is not such a great achievement. Yeah, it's not a very great achievement. In fact, we are also wondering, why is Krishna even telling Arjuna that why do you have to aim for heaven? Yeah, if you read the rest of the Gita, that is actually condemned to have this aspiration. So why here is Krishna encouraging Arjuna with the promise of heaven? Why do you think so? Why do you think Krishna is saying, oh, you'll get the pleasures of heaven, when we know that it's not very nice?
I'll just give it a try. So that
Yeah.
Arjuna does not get demotivated from fighting the battle. He follows his duty. The main point, I guess, is do not get demotivated or to lose morale in fighting the battle.
Nice try. So essentially at this point, Krishna has not even talked about any of those other things. He has not talked about liberation. He has not talked about getting love of Godhead. Nothing like that. He is going step by step progress, step by step. He started from a person who is completely, okay, Arjuna is not an illusion, but he was been put into illusion. So a person who is completely ignorant, for them to raise straight away to the level of understanding the ultimate goal is a very big jump. So for such a person, you need to give some sort of selfish fruits, so that they can get moving in the right direction. Because the point is fighting, but fighting for what reason? Right now he is giving the reason to fight for a selfish reason. That if you fight as a Kshatriya, because this is your duty, you are going to have enjoyment. It's you, all about you. But actually by the end of it, Krishna wants him to fight not because for any of his personal benefit, but for Krishna's benefit. That I want you to fight. Not because you will get anything out of it. If you just surrender to me and become an instrument in my plan, then you will be at the highest position. But right now he is not, he is building up to that. He is building up to that. So Krishna is basically glorifying in a step-by-step basis. Because even in our own culture, there was one Gaudiya Acharya by the name of Prabodhanandan Saraswati Thakur. He said that even the happiness of getting liberation is like hellish condition for life, for us. He said it is kevalyam narak kayate, means it is like hellish. It is like hell. Even the happiness of liberation is like hell. You can imagine how elevated the actual goal is. But this is going in a step-by-step process. Okay. So another thing that we want to bring out here is that we must understand that this verse can be easily misunderstood to glorify violence, but it is not so. It is not so. Because of two main truths. One is that we must accept that there is the universal law of karma. If you take that opportunity to just go and wage a religious war for religious purposes and kill so many civilians who are not at all armed, who are not warriors, then you are going to get a lot of bad karma for it and you will suffer for it. But this is not the setting. If you think about the context in which this verse is being said, you must understand that this is on a religious war with warriors, not with any sort of civilians, right? So it's not at all glorifying mass killing in the name of God. It's not doing that. Although some person might look at it and take it out of context. Okay? And actually this verse is also showing a very important note. The note is that in our understanding, in anthropology, there is something known as survival of the fittest. But survival of the fittest, it doesn't inspire any sort of meaning to life. What actually gets some meaning in life is sacrifice of the fittest. Okay, so survival of the fittest versus sacrifice of the fittest. Okay, for example, when you've seen a big natural calamity take place or some big disaster take place, like for example in America when the Twin Towers were, when the planes went into it and it entirely fell down, so many different firefighters, they went straight into the disaster zone to try and save people without caring for the fact that they might even die in the process. Yeah, even there was this I don't know if you remember, there's this the incident of Chernobyl where the nuclear plant, yeah, there was a detonation there, and there was another place that was going to be affected, and in the nick of time there was a group of coal miners who are told to go into it and remove or disengage the nuclear reactor, and they knew that this is going to be a one-way trip, that once they go in they are not going to come back out. So what actually made them want to even sacrifice their life for the benefit of so many people that they never knew in their life? Yeah, what is that thing? Where does that thing come from? Where do those qualities come from? Where does that value come from? Because if you are just going to be, oh, survival of the fittest, that is only a very material phenomenon. But where do the qualities of sacrificing, where do the qualities of these higher values come from? They come from our spiritual nature. They come from our spiritual nature. Yeah. And this is what gives life meaning. It gives a life meaning. Even during the World War II, when the Nazis were detaining so many Jewish people in concentration camps, there was this one person, and he's written a very, very famous book. It's called Man's Search for Happiness. He tells of how his experiences were like in the concentration camps. Then he got liberated. There was a liberation of the camps, and afterwards he writes a book, and he says that the last freedom that man has is hope. When man loses this last freedom of hope, then he is nothing more than a dead corpse. So where does man find meaning? That's what we all want. We all want meaning in our lives. And the greatest meaning can only be found in a spiritual culture. The spiritual culture is put in such a way that we get to understand what is life's ultimate meaning, what is life's ultimate purpose. Thus, the Kshatriyas, they were considered the fittest. If they were to sacrifice themselves in the pursuit of saving other people, this was considered to be a very great act. Yes, great act. Just like a person who dies fighting on the borders to save a fellow comrade, he is awarded with medals after death. He is awarded, he is given so much recognition. He is given so much recognition. Similarly, the Kshatriyas, they are getting a lot of good karma if they are dying on the battlefield for protecting religious principles or for advancing religious principles. So for those people, it is said here that the doors of heaven are wide open. But now there is, scripture can have two different ways to understand it. One is a literal sense. What we just covered right now was the literal understanding that, okay, Kshatriyas, if they die on the battlefield for religious principles, they get elevated to heaven. But there is now an allegorical understanding. Allegorical understanding is that this could be said in a story form and the essence is something else. Yes, scripture speaks to us in three different levels or multiple levels, one of which is literal and the second one of which is allegorical or symbolic understanding. So if you are seeking, the most meaningful life is that which culminates in the attainment of pure spiritual love for Krishna, for that love brings the supreme satisfaction eternally. Now those people who are seeking that love, they need to become spiritual warriors. Here Arjuna is an actual warrior, but if we want to attain that supreme goal, we also need to become spiritual warriors. And then what do we need to do when we are warriors? We need to do two things. That if you are a warrior on the battlefield, of course you have to slay your enemies. What are our enemies? What are our enemies? Our enemies are materialistic desires and temptations. So as spiritual warriors, we have to fight against this materialistic culture, materialistic temptations, all the things that keep us away from Krishna. But the Kshatriyas are not only fighting enemies. What else are they doing? They are also protecting their own. They are also protecting other people. So how do you protect? How do you protect? In this case, how would you protect other people? Think.
I think we protect them by being in the front line on their behalf. We fight on their behalf.
Okay, so what does that mean? How do you fight for somebody on their behalf?
I think it's what you say, the sacrifice of the future.
Sacrifice, but what are you sacrificing? What are you doing that is sacrificing? Okay, you're protecting another person by giving knowledge, by preaching to them about the dangers of materialistic culture, materialism, by making them aware of their actual nature. As warriors, we have two things. We have to protect ourselves, and at the same time we are protecting others by giving them information about Krishna, by preaching to them. If we do these two things, then we are truly spiritual warriors. And we know Krishna loves warriors. His devotee is the foremost warrior. So when we become spiritual warriors for Krishna, he'll become very pleased for us. And even he says at the end of the Gita that those who preach this message of Bhagavad Gita to the masses, there is no more person more dear to me than that. Yes? So we have to strive to also become spiritual warriors, engaged in service for Lord Krishna. Yes? Under the guidance of our general. Who is our general? Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He is known as the Senapati. He is a Senapati Bhakta. We are all under his guidance. And we have to take very much care and enthusiasm in fulfilling his vision. We have to become spiritual warriors. In fact, there is a Srila Prabhupada disciple by the name of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. I don't know if you have ever known of the name Bhakti Tirtha Swami. He has written a whole, I think, 6-volume book set, and he's entitled it Spiritual Warrior. So if you can get a chance, please read it. It's very, very moving. It's very, very deep. Okay? Any comments? Any questions? Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rantra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.